Hello viewers, hope you're doing well. Today in this video, I'm going to create and set up user service in Spring Boot application. So let's get started. First, I'm going to create a user role enum. So inside this package, let me create a new folder with the name enums. Inside this, let me create a new enum with the name user role. Inside this enum, we have to define here a user role that we have user. Now after that, let me open here a user entity. So inside this class, let me add one more field that we have private user role. Let me copy this. Let me add inside the user DTO. After creating a user role, let me open here a pom.xml file. So inside the dependencies, let me add the dependencies for string security and the JWT. First, we have the dependency for Spring Security that will use to add authentication, authorization, and the security filters. Second dependency for Spring Security testing. Now after the Spring Security dependencies, let me add here the dependencies for JWT. So as you can see, dependencies for JWT. First we have the JWT API that will use to provide interfaces and the classes to create and sign params JWT. Second dependency for JJWT implementation that will use to create and validate JWT. The third dependency that for JJWT Jackson that will use to enable the JSON serialization. After the JWT dependencies, we have the dependency for Apache Commons that will provide utility functions like strings, numbers, collections. I will share these dependencies in the video description. You can check it out. After adding the dependencies, let me refresh the Maven. After that, let me open here a user repository. So inside this interface, let me create a query for find user by email. The query that we have, find first by email. Inside the argument, it will get an email that is a type of a string, and this query will return an optional user. After the user repository, I'm going to create a new package inside this. So the package name that we have, services. Inside this, let me create a new package with the name JWT. Inside the JWT, I'm going to create a new interface with the name user service. With this, let me create a new Java class with the name user service impl that we have the implementation of user service. After creating this class, let me implement this with user service. On the top of this class, let me add here the annotation that we have at the rate service to create this class as a service in Spring Boot application. The second annotation I'm going to add here at the rate required ARGS constructor that will use to create the constructor of dependency injection. Let me open here a user service. Inside this interface, let me create the object of user details service. After creating this, let's go to user service impl, and I'm going to implement the method that we have user details service. Now inside this, we have to return here new user details service, where we have to override the function that we have load user by username. Inside the argument, it will get an email. Now inside this, we have to return here a query response that we have created inside a user repository, as you can see. So inside this class, let me inject here a user repository. So it will be a private final user repository. So here we have to call the user repository, and the query that we have, find first by email. Inside the argument of this, we have to pass here email. In case if a user not found by email, then we have to return user not found exception with the message user not found. So it will be a or else throw, where we have to throw here new username not found exception with the message user not found. To fix this error, let me implement the user entity with user details. After implementing a user entity with the user details, we have to implement these functions. So as you can see, a function that we have get authorities, where we have to return here list dot of that we have new simple granted authority. Inside the argument of this, we have to pass here user role dot name. The second function that we have get username, so this will return an email. Third function that we have is account non-expired. This will return true. Fourth function that we have is account non-logged in. This will return true as well. Second last function that we have is credentials non-expired. This will return true as well. At the last, we have the function with the name is enabled. This will return true. Now you can take a look of a user entity. User DTO, user repository, user service, and the user service implementation. So that's all for now from my side. If you have any confusion, you can do comment. Thanks for watching. Take care. Bye.